Have you ever wanted to make a Fakémon but failed miserably in the process and gave up? Well, aspiring artists, welcome to the only tutorial you'll ever need to watch, teaching you, the viewer, my design and thought process when creating a Fakémon. What's a Fakémon, you may ask? If you don't know what a Fakémon is, or even a Pokemon, one of, if not the most well-known franchises in the world, currently selling millions of copies of their games that merchandise by the minute, well, what type of rock have you been living under? Like, there's so much happening in the world, give me that rock. In short, Fakémon are Pokemon, but fake. Pretty self-explanatory. They can be original, new evos or megas, reimaginings, or... essentially, they're a way for fans to give to the fans, filling that void of wanting to work at Game Freak but then realizing it's an unattainable dream. I mean, think about it, almost everyone that experienced Pokemon at some point in their childhood made or at least wanted to make a Pokemon, but some people, like me, just took it a step further and made them into fully fledged creations. Some people also might play out Pokemon, calling it a children's plaything without much thought behind it. Those people are benign and don't deserve happiness. Beneath the surface, there's a reason Pokemon still stands as one of the top competitors for entertainment. Can you guess what it is? The Pokemon. Obviously. Ken Sugimori, the one who concepted the Gen 1 designs of Pokemon, is responsible for drawing the official artwork for every Pokemon with his team of 5 people who design which designs will go into the game. My process for creation may differ from theirs, but there are some design conventions I've learned from Sugimori and the other Fakémon tutorials. With that very detailed and well thought out explanation done, let's get into the juicy bits. Before you want to get good at Fakémon art, you need to get at normal art. Crazy how that works. That means understanding perspective, volume, depth. If you're not really interested or don't know what I'm talking about, keep watching anime. If you get the basics of drawing, then you should be fine moving on to inspiration. When people ask for advice to Fakémon, the first thing I promptly say is, look for inspiration, which is a metaphor for I'm giving you a task so I won't have to interact with you for a bit. Just kidding, you guys are awesome. By look for inspiration, I mean look for things that inspire you in daily life. Whether it be the things you play or watch, going for a walk, getting sporadic ideas, or getting ideas from researching. That last one is very important. When I say research, I mean look deep into lore mythology that could be added to give more meaning behind a design. Now, every design to date has lots of real life inspiration that can be found with enough research. Designs with no point of origin, inspiration, or research just look bland and uninspired. It's like Sugimori said, look for inspiration to make dope ass Pokemon, or something like that. Things like local animals, local fauna, folklore, legends, and mythology. Once you find something interesting that can turn into a Fakémon, then you should ask yourself, do I want a human, animal, object, 1 stage, 2 stage, 3 stage, what the types will be, if it's a mega, a regional variant, the movesets, silhouette, or body shape, and the function it plays in the real world. A Pokemon is a theoretical, living creature, so how does it interact with its environment? Now, I'll use some of my designs as an example. These designs were for a contest for a region I wasn't familiar with, that being Indonesia. The average person, you, might struggle with coming up with something totally foreign to you, but the extraordinary intellectual, me, knows what questions to ask in order to get a jump start. When I start to research, I usually look to local wildlife and fauna to spark some ideas. It's good to have a type in mind to narrow down the possibilities. This way, you can come up with a type combination that makes sense for the animal. A grass-type dolphin, for example, might seem a bit unorthodox, but with enough research, you can come up with something for even that out-of-the-box concept. Out of the 10 types from the contest, I picked ground type, as I never made a design out of it, and why does it matter? Looking through the list of animals, one stood out among the crowd and would be the savior to lead humanity to salvation. This smoking hunk of meat is called the babirusa, a deer pig found mostly in Indonesia. Why did you pick a babirusa, you might ask? First off, don't speak to me in that tone. Secondly, they like to get dirty, as in muddy, and mud is wet dirt, and dirt is the ground, and yada yada yada, good idea, let's go. Now, a muddy pig isn't the most creative thing. When I hit this part of the process, I have to ask myself, what hasn't been done before? This usually means smashing my keyboard out of frustration, but the real method is to draw a box. Put yourself in that box. Then, put that idea in the box. Let's say, a dog. Then put some common things in that box to relate to it. Then, use all of that. Because that's what people expect of a concept. Outside of that box, put some obscure ideas. Dogs are moody, they smell, and people have allergies to them. Now, you have more interesting ideas to work with. Think outside the box. Literally. My process came out with this, a pig that likes to roll around, getting sick in the process because it's really unsanitary, leaking out excess mud from its large nose. At this point, start looking up things that relate to your concept. What comes to mind when you hear a pig with a large hole? A piggy bank, idiot. Looking up piggy banks in Indonesia, I found this cutie. Majapahit piggy bank. With something like a first stage, this is usually all you need research-wise. Now you have all your resources to start designing. Workspace. When you're doing the drawing stuff, I always put references in front of me. I don't know the actual name of it, but I'm calling it the board of beauty, which means put all your references in one spot to keep yourself neat and tidy, you filthy animal. Now, a question that some of you may ask, how do I know which references to use and which not to? Great question, viewer. To put in food terms, the internet is your kitchen. The references are your ingredients. So, learn which ingredients to use to make a great meal. God, I'm so hungry. It's like what Gordon Ramsay said. First of all, for me, the secret is in the ingredients. The better the ingredient, the littler that needs doing to it. I don't know if he actually... No, wait, he actually said that. Applying this to Fakémon, the meal is the design, so every aspect of the plate needs to be carefully thought out and executed flawlessly. You can have all the references in the world, but that doesn't mean you'll get a good design. Work with what makes sense concept-wise, and the design will speak for itself. So, in short, do research for your region, compile some relevant references to your concepts, then put them all on the board of beauty. Now that I have my references ready, time to move on to the sketching process. There are certain guidelines to follow to give the design the Pokemon feel. When looking at every Pokemon design to date, there's always one prominent feature. Bouffalin's hair, Icecube's head, Greedent, and many more that I'm just too lazy to list. In this design, it's the cheeks. I mean, look at them. Massive. I usually start with the body shape, as it's what defines the design silhouette. I mean, here's a Pokemon you can recognize just on the body shape alone. Some designs allow for additions if needed. The general rule I like to follow is 1 to 3 features for stage 1, 3 to 4 for stage 2, 3 to 5 is on stage 3, and for legendaries, I don't know, go crazy. When you have a bunch of disconnected pieces of the puzzle, find a way to combine them that makes sense. For example, the pig had these eyebrow things and a tail flower, so I combined them into the flower motif. Doing this not only adds another aspect to your design, but simplifies and brings together the concept. So let's count the features. You have the nose, cheeks, and flowers. Anything past that is cluttered beyond recognition. When designing the Evos, think about what's next concept-wise. The Evo shouldn't be a 1 to 1.5 looking design. In the industry, this is what we call a Gesbiga. Think thematically. A revolver to a cannon, a soccer player to a bigger soccer player, a wad of mud into a pot, which is where this design comes in. Taking inspiration from ear and nose plates and a pig in a blanket, all while keeping it relatively simple. That's the key to a great design. Simplicity. Adding patterns just to add patterns makes the negative space feel cluttered. Make sure to give the viewer time for their eyes to relax. The final stage is where it all comes together concept-wise. From here, I could have gone a number of different ways, but I went with the brawler look Amber went for, but I'm doing it better, so don't even worry. I go in more detail in specific design elements on my Instagram, at MythRegion, what are you doing, go follow. So if you want more insight on how you can combine multiple ideas thematically, go check it out. Now, once you have your designs, ask yourself these 4 questions. Is it marketable? Can a child draw this? Can it be my friend? Oh, wait, there's only 3. Pokemon is a franchise, meaning they have a targeted demographic, meaning they need to be memorable in children's heads, meaning they have to look friendly. Now that you have your design, time to make the final render, if you want. So, I use Procreate on the iPad, hashtag not sponsored. I don't know what program you guys will use or if you guys will hand draw, but nonetheless, I use a 3150 by 3150 size canvas, an edited studio pen with these settings for line art and a flat brush for coloring. So don't go into comments asking what I use, it's right here, just for free. I'll be doing the final stage of the line, Terracotta, to show you the drawing process I go through. Looking at every Sugimori drawing, the line work, colors, and values play a big role in making it feel official. In some designs, the line work is craggy. Sugimori's old artwork was drawn by hand, so that style carried over into modern drawings, but some have neat lines, so what do I know? To get that look though, I either go really slow and methodically, taking care in every line I place, or go hog wild and making it as extreme as possible. For color schemes, try fitting it to whatever the concept is, but try keeping it around the same color schemes as other Pokemon of that type. I tend to use other Pokemon colors to keep it in that range of saturation. For the amount of colors, again, 1 to 3 for the first stage, 3 to 4 for the second, 3 to 5 on the third, and for legendaries, go crazy again. The values is where people have the most trouble, whether it's location of the shading or the shape of it. Sugimori's style of using midtones usually has a blocky look between one shade to the next, which at a distance looks like a smooth transition of colors, but looking closely you can see the more sloppy looking gradient. The texturing sort of falls into this category too, but more recent designs tend to stray away from it with a more smooth look. Now, this is optional, but concept sheets really help when fleshing out a character and or showing things that are otherwise unable to be shown in the render. Adding things like front view, side view, back view, attacking pose, sitting pose, running pose, facial features, detached body parts, and many more. So, now you have the final products. Now you can make your creations even more special with names, typing, EV, IV, abilities, UVs, social links, you name it. Let's do a quick recap of the video you just watched. Know how to draw? Check. Do some research? Check. Do some sketches that combine ideas? Check. Do the final render. Obviously, applies to every character design you do. It just requires a little more time researching if you want believable Pokemon. Everyone's process is different and they can yield different results. I mean, tell someone to make a dirt pig and you can get hundreds of different ideas with enough creativity. So go at your own pace and assess your skills to make the best Fakémon possible. Hey guys, I know it's been a while since the last one. I finally got some motivation to sit down, write a whole script, and record it. Who would have thought? I know in the starter video I said the next uploads would be the starter evos, but I lied. I'm a liar. I can't force good concepts on a whim, and doing that for each starter is debilitating and unfun like you wouldn't believe. Well, with that out of the way, subscribe, leave a like if you like my content, or don't. I don't know. Oh, I mentioned this earlier, but my Insta at @mythlegion has the design elements of the designs showcased in the video, along with some contest entries, one of which I won, and other Fakémon for the region my team and I are making. If you want early access to the designs or want to get in contact with me without waiting for another video in a month, definitely swing by and send some support. It's really appreciated. Well, see you in the next one.